The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Welcome to it. It's a Friday road show here, Nebraska-Illinois. Game time, 7 o'clock. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal here at the Single Barrel inside the Graduate 9th and P, front and center. Might be a little dangerous for us as we are within eye view of the bar. Nebraska fans here in droves. Should be a good one tonight, and you are invited down, as always, to the Single Barrel 9th and P. Inside the Graduate, 489-1240, numbers to get in, 489-1240, 800-825-5865. Can always find the show and stream us. Hail Varsity YouTube channel, Hail Varsity Radio, Twitter. Will Wilson rocking, is that a Miller High Life t-shirt?
It's Milwaukee.
No, old Mill. It's an old Mud polo shirt. I love it. Will, show the folks in the stream. Keep your shirt on. That's not what I'm asking you to show. It's old Milwaukee. I like it. Will, how we feeling? Thanks for driving the bus today, brother.
Yeah, no, everything's good. I've worn this polo every game day, so we have yet to lose in it. I've also been getting a lot of compliments on it, so I thought I'd wear it again.
No,
I like it.
It's a. I'm not even sure that they made polos up until just now. That's a hell of a pole. Like, I have a Milwaukee beanie,
okay,
but the polo's a good one. I didn't know that was available. I don't know where you got it. I'd like to know where you got that one because I'd like to get a polo just like that.
Well, maybe we can do some bartering, but check us out in the stream, Hail Varsity YouTube, along the Hail Varsity Radio Network, as always, and on Twitter at HVarsity Radio. There's been some temptation that's gone on. Our dear friends, the Snitley boys, they are tailgating around Haymarket. They have offered wings in Templeton for us to stop by, but work calls. Call your shot Friday. What happens today? Get your scores in. We'll get our starting five shout-outs going on as well. Here at the Single Barrel, 4 to 6 with Hail Varsity. Real Red Reaction, myself, Elijah, rocking things. Tim Bob checks in. We may have a Pride of Fairbury Bill Dolman sighting later this evening as well. So that is what to look forward to for your pre and post. And Elijah, I got down here a little bit earlier. It's not Colorado madness, Elijah and Will, but it's creeping up. It's a bit of a slow burn because this is an audible, right? This is a new weird Friday night deal that Nebraska and Nebraskans, as you celebrate sellout number 400 against a ranked squad in Illinois, you're going to see how your game day Fridays are because you've not dealt with one of these before.
There was a great tweet from Jeff from the Common Fan podcast that I showed you, Schmitty, before the show, where he was talking about taking a call from your boss 8 beers deep, wondering where you are, why you aren't at your desk, and you're at a tailgate. That's kind of the vibe around Lincoln right now. Is it's a late arriving tailgating crowd. I'm sure there's plenty of people who did not get off work today. They're getting off work and coming straight downtown. I'm seeing the traffic here outside the Single Barrel. It's starting to pick up just a little bit whenever we arrive. So a late arriving tailgate crowd. Something tells me, though, with the ranked on ranked matchup that we have tonight at Memorial Stadium, it's not going to be a late arriving crowd in general. I think that crowd is going to get there. You know, the classic Husker fan, 45 minutes to an hour early, get in your seats, be loud, be proud. I'm not expecting a dead crowd tonight by any means. Maybe late arriving for the tailgate, but a lot of Husker fans excited for this one.
No, it'll be good. We'll tell you the lineup right now. Brian Christopherson going to join us from Husker 24/7 Sports. BC will check in here in about 15 minutes. In hour 2, Brandon Vogel with us from Counter-Read, counterread.com, going to join us at 5:05. And then we're going to have an extended forecast with Claus V at 5:25 as you maneuver your way down to downtown Lincoln. Come see us here till 6 at the Single Barrel. Grab a drink, get an amazing steak or some pork chops Uncle Kelly stopped by. That was good to see him. Joe Mama and Al are here. The bunny has made an appearance. So she will sign autographs, but she has not declared a price yet. It's probably cheaper than Johnny Rogers.
Yeah, my dad's also made it down here.
I know. I was going to say.
You'll never believe it. A bowling shirt.
No, the bowling shirt's great. It's a bowling shirt / Tony Soprano tribute. I love it. It's pretty good. We'll get our shout outs going on. I got a chance to see Ken and Jan, avid listeners to Hail Varsity from Oklahoma. They did a whole big family reunion here right as we were setting up. They're hitting the tailgate. They're coming back for the whiskey here at the Single Barrel. 200 to choose from, by the way. And Ken and Jan, we got a chance to meet them when Rob and I made the trip to Champaign, the dreaded safety by a future Pro Bowler now in Cincinnati to start the 2021 season in week 0 when that whole Ireland thing went up in smoke. So let's get our starting 5 shout-outs. Tim is here. Tim, good to have you. Jeff Snitley is in, and Mr. Snitley is firing up the wings over in Haymarket. Good for you, Jeff. Black Hills Brennan says happy game day. The other Dave is in. Uncle Jimmy is here. And Jimmy says Bill Coleman is in the booth. It's Mr. Dolman. We're thinking of Greg, and love you, Greg. And Bill stepping in tonight, helping out. Grateful Red is here. Are you ready? I think we're ready. And you have Coach Brandon is here. I'm ready for 4-0, says Grateful Red, to celebrate that 400th sellout. Jack is here. Elijah's soup strainer. Elijah, you had no idea what the term bat in the cave meant?
No.
It means you got a giant, crusty goober that's just fluttering in the wind every time you exhale out of your nose. It's slang for booger.
Never heard that one before. Isn't booger itself already slang?
Well, I guess. But there's a derivative of booger to now bat in the cave. Crazy Spider Adventures is here. What's going on? How we doing? What's your name, man? Brian, nice to see you. Appreciate you.
We're doing. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. All right. We are.
Yeah.
We're giving you guys shout outs. I love the corn shirt. That's good. That's a good belt buckle. That koozie nice. That koozie is a collector's item, my friend. It says something warning. Yeah, let's just show the folks in the stream.
Yeah,
we'll give it back. Yes.
That's a museum piece now.
It is.
I almost threw it off the roof of Barry's.
And it would have been incomplete.
I fall asleep listening to you guys every night. You're the bomb.
I appreciate you guys.
Well, I'm sorry we put you to sleep.
No.
It's peaceful. It makes me feel good.
It's peaceful. I love
I
that.
appreciate that.
A lot of words we've been called. Peaceful is one of them. I love it. Good to see you folks here at the Single Barrel. Uncle Larry is in. Tuck is here. Tuck, another game to make the doubters believers. Let's jump into this audio, Will. You've got it pulled up. We love hearing from Ari Wasserman and Andy Staples on 3, national guys that do an amazing job. This may be a little bit graphic, but as long as we don't get fired, what did you want to say? Okay, Skurs by 90. What's your name?
Abby Beaton.
Abby says Skurs by 90. We're playing radio karaoke. That's good. That's good. All right, Abby and her radio debut. She has, the red boots that were once in Footloose, I think she's wearing. So back to football. Back to football. And the term,
where do we leave off?
Right, yeah, I don't know. The term is grab ass. And that was used in the podcast. 10 years of GA. 10 years of GA for Nebraska football. Does it stop tonight? Part of the On 3 National Football Podcast. They previewed Nebraska, they being Andy Staples, Ari Wasserman. Here's what they think, because Husker fans, you've been through the ringer on it. Now it's ranked v. ranked. Now it's national audience. Fox on Friday. Timmy Brando, our dear friends here, doing the game. What do they think happens? Because it is a chance to go beyond feel good to, all right, real and spectacular, to go Seinfeld. Here is part of that On 3 commentary.
Like, I've been
certain that Nebraska is a very good football team. Their talent level, I think, is pretty good. They're coached pretty well. It seems like they've put behind, I don't want to say it too soon, but have they put behind the decade of complete and utter grab ass in every single game and just played good, solid defense with a star quarterback? And you're playing at home with the juice. I mean, that crowd is as juiced as it's probably been in a long time. 8.5 seems like a lot, but a 10-point Nebraska win and a 31-21 type game totally seems like it's reasonable.
It does, and we'll have our predictions with Claus in the Friday forecast coming up. But guys, it is kind of that moment, isn't it, Elijah and Will, where all right, you may get tested, you may get bloodied a little bit because Illinois has some talent. They're no joke. You've got Fagan and Altmaier, and quite honestly, Bryant and Franklin. You've seen NFL dudes. You've been tested and on this stage just 3 weeks ago with Colorado, but now it's conference, now it's physical, and now it's been about you nationally, and it's been a nice build. When we were wrapping up here the show yesterday, who was leading off SportsCenter? It was Matt Rhule kicking off the 6 p.m. Central SportsCenter. Nebraska has got a following. It's continuing to grow nationally.
Yeah, and the question to me with tonight is I think you're going to have a decent audience. It's not going to just be the people tuning in to see how Nebraska screws it up, which was the standard for a couple years.
They want to see Nebraska maybe deliver.
And you have an idea as a Husker fan, I think national media, that, you know what, this Nebraska team is better this year. They showed it against Colorado. You know what, they're a solid football team. Now it's the prove it point for the national media, the college football world, that, you know what, Nebraska can do it against a Big Ten foe, a team that is always going to be coached up well by Brett Bielema, a team that is going to play solid, fundamental, physical football. That's Illinois' brand. That's what Nebraska's really struggled against in recent years, that a team that's going to come in and play fundamental, solid, physical, classic Big Ten field position football. That was Nebraska's kryptonite under Scott Frost over the past decade or so. You have that prove-it opportunity tonight in front of a national audience to say, you know what, it's not that same, as Ari Wasserman said, grab-ass football that Nebraska played over the past 5 years, where you would always expect some hilarity to ensue in the third or fourth quarter of a close game, and Nebraska would lose it in the most, some would say hilarious, some would say heart-wrenching way possible. Tonight's the prove-it opportunity that, you know what, the physical, fundamental football that Nebraska struggled against, despite teams not out-talenting Nebraska, you have a chance to prove it tonight. I don't think this Illinois team out-talents Nebraska.
I don't either, on the lines.
How they
board quarterback.
How they beat Nebraska is if Nebraska shoots themselves in the foot, doesn't play fundamental football, makes those infuriating mistakes that you've seen over the past 5 seasons. Tonight's your opportunity to prove, you know what, it's a different Nebraska. If you play fundamental, physical football, don't shoot yourself in the foot, this shouldn't be a game that Nebraska has any difficulties winning, in my opinion.
Well, even if Nebraska isn't perfect, same with to you, Elijah, Nebraska's margin for error has been nightmarish. You've had to play great football and get some help or not screw it up yourself, to be honest. Otherwise, you didn't have enough to get over the hump, to find a way to win. Nebraska can be a bit flawed. They've got a better offense. They've got a ton of options at running back. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they've still got a defense that loves raw meat. And they want to feast tonight on quarterbacks and running backs and lines of scrimmage that can't hold up physically to them. So should be interesting to see where Nebraska's at. Is it beyond feel good? Is it real? And is it spectacular?
And the biggest piece of concern I have going into tonight, and what it could be a close game, a fundamental football game, is that field goal kicking. Still a concern to me.
Do you think Nebraska goes audible tonight?
It's the rumor I've been hearing.
Which is?
The rumor I've been hearing is that Rhule is going to be handling the kicking duties tonight.
Okay.
I don't have confirmation on that. That's just what's been floating around on a Friday. So I'm putting that out there now. We did have Rhule announced as a starting kicker last week during introductions, but then Alvano's the guy that's taking your kicks. So not sure what that means, but I have heard that Rhule is again going to be introduced as a starting kicker tonight, and maybe your guy taking field goals. What does that tell you about the kicking situation? Well, it doesn't leave you with a high place of confidence. That's where I could see Nebraska screwing up tonight, but you need to be solid kicking field goals in what could be a close game.
Told you Tuck was in. Eric is here. NASCAR Eric checks in. Walter, the time for being careful is bleeping over. Eat Beef is in. Adam checks in. Laura says hello. Laura, good to have you. And Coach Brandon says hi. KG is here. He screams Go Big Red as we get through our starting five and our other shout outs. The real Matthew is in. Golden Fang says Smokey says it's Friday. Good old Smokey. Bruce from Spearfish is here. Sal also checking in from Omaha. Ryan says, holy hell, I'm fired up. Let's fast forward about 3 hours. GBR. Pat is here. CK Cash 26 checks in along with Nolan. Andrew is here. And Ryan checks in as well. Connor Clark making an appearance. I enjoy GA in all aspects of life except my football. Ryan, well put. As I was getting set up, they had some classic rock here over the speakers going, and it was the studio version of Layla from Eric Clapton.
The
I love
acoustic version's better, but
yes, I agree with you. The acoustic version and album Clapton did in '94 was tremendous. Did Tears in Heaven, and you had the Layla part. As Will's like saying, shut up about music. But I just hope it's not an omen. Every time I hear that, I think of Goodfellas and the hit scene.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Herd at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Live, local, in our community. The KFOR Sportscasters Club has long been a supporter of young athletes and academics in Lincoln and Lancaster County. Follow your favorite team on air and online at KFORnow.com. Powered by Beach Camper Sales. Stay connected to Lincoln and Lancaster County High School athletics on FM 101.5, 1240 AM KFOR.
Hello, neighbor from Super C Convenience Stores. Here to remind you about Super C Rewards. I swipe and save every day with Super C Rewards. Rack up rewards on every purchase and redeem for free stuff like coffee, fountain drinks, cookies and donuts, energy drinks. And Thursdays, I get double points on 16-ounce Monsters. Tuesdays, I get 20 bonus points with the purchase of 12 packs of pop and beer. I keep track of my Reward Club purchases. Come on, neighbor. Download Super C Rewards, available in the Apple or Google stores.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise, and peak flu season is almost here. Save time and get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
Time is of the essence with COVID-19. Prescription oral treatment must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Learn more at treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is great because you're rarely rewarded for just being you. Ever get rewarded for being left-handed? No. You get to use weird scissors. Your reward for being a Capricorn? Cold birthdays that conflict with the holidays. And your reward for quickly responding to every work email? More emails. But with Snapshot, even left-handed Capricorns with proper email etiquette could get rewarded for good driving. So download the Progressive app today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
Time is of the essence.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you. We're here at the Single Barrel inside the graduate pregame. Nebraska, Illinois. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Will Wilson here. 9th and P as where we're at. The Illinois buses are still parked out front. I have not seen Coach Bielema and crew board yet, but it is starting to swell here downtown in a good way. Nebraska fans getting used to some Friday night football. Great coverage as always, commentary, and Big Red insight from Brian Christopherson as he joins us here, and can read him and Shafe and Brunsey and the crew with Husker 24/7 Sports. BC, how's your Friday? Feeling a little weird since it is Friday, or are you just locked in, getting ready to find your way to the press box if you're not already there? Thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I'm in a parking garage and looking at the stadium, so I'm about ready to head over there. And it's I'm all right with this Friday night football. I'm not down on it.
No, it's been a bit of an adjust. Has your week been screwy? Like just time wise, has it been weird?
It hasn't been too bad. I mean, I'll never complain as a sports writer. They actually pay me to write about this stuff and interview people about the game of football. So if whatever they tell me the schedule is, if that's my job assignment, I'll say like, okay, I'll do that. So I'm okay with it.
I like it. At Husker 24/7 BC is where you can follow Brian Christopherson, Nebraska and Illinois. We were talking a little bit earlier about, well, the last decade, right, Brian? And that is, Nebraska's ability to get creative and turn the football gods against them. What does tonight mean to you as a guy who's covered this, as a guy who's grown up in the state? How big is this moment? And I'm not trying to make a referendum on every game, but this is a little different. This is national, this is ranked, and this is conference, a little bit different than CU.
Yeah, it's a real opportunity to take a step and get another sort of ugly mark off the TV graphics that they can use, and that being the drought Nebraska's had against ranked opponents, which of course stretches back to Oregon in 2016. So you got to be excited that you got a chance to put that away, and also get to 1-0 in the conference, and also do it in front of a home crowd that I think if you play with your emotions right in this game can give you a 7 to 10 point advantage. It's about time Nebraska football gets back to owning their backyard and having those 7-0 seasons at Memorial Stadium and having that like 10-point advantage where the other team makes a mistake that they wouldn't normally make because the crowd has an impact in that way. And I think there's a possibility of that tonight. I think it could be a tight fit game, but if you can get a play or two like that where Illinois is a little out of their element, does something they wouldn't normally do, and the crowd can play a factor and the players can feed off that, this is where you got to use that emotion to your advantage and make a moment out of it.
It's Brian Christopherson with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. And Brian, with as much as Nebraska and Illinois has been talked about by national media folks in the past week, I'm not under any impression it's going to be the most watched game of the weekend, but it is going to be a popular game on a Friday night. Is this the game that if Nebraska gets it done that truly catapults them back into national relevancy? I mean, you see some of that in the betting lines with Nebraska being currently plus 700 to make the college football playoff. Every single talking head is mentioning Rhule and Nebraska within the past week or two. Is this the game that a win catapults Nebraska back to where Husker fans think Nebraska should be?
I don't know if it'll accomplish all of that, but I definitely think people are sort of leaning up in their seats that aren't, within our bubble to take a look at Nebraska, and they're intrigued by him. I mean, how could you not be? You have a guy in Matt Rhule who has built programs very successfully before, trying to bring back a powerhouse. And then you've got this exciting, humble, but talented freshman quarterback with a legacy name that people have heard a lot about, and maybe some of them haven't seen Nebraska play because they've been busy watching their teams on Saturday, and they're going to tune in today and see, okay, what's this Rhule guy all about? So it definitely is an opportunity. I think the Big Ten, they wanted to have about 10 to 12 games on Friday night to showcase their league, and they know that even though people kind of complain about the Friday night football, they're still going to watch it if it's on because it's football. So I think it'll have a wide audience, and it's another opportunity for Nebraska sort of like they did a couple weeks ago, to prove that, okay, this is a different era than it's been recently. This is a team that can handle the stage, that doesn't get overcome by it. And the only real question for me, guys, is what type of Nebraska team shows up if this is like a 13-10 type of game with like 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and you got to make a play or two to kind of distance yourself, and there's some tension. So we haven't seen that yet with this Husker team, where they've been tested with that. So I know fans would probably like to not even have that tonight, but if it does, it'll be interesting what happens.
Brian, that's huge, right? You have home cooking, you have confidence, you have talent at quarterback. And that's kind of how I feel tonight might go. This might be another step in that mile marker, right, for this football team. You've handled your business twice. You beat your rival. You got the folks cheering you on to do it. And there's margin for error, dare I say, with Nebraska football. They don't have to be perfect, and they can still win. So maybe they're not perfect tonight, and they come from behind or they get a stop. I'm anxious to see them in that moment. Do you think it'll be a different movie or ending if it ends up being a 3 or 7 point situation deep into the fourth quarter?
Well, I think they've worked hard all off season to build that mentality where you don't have that scar tissue of the past necessarily. And I know there's some guys on this roster like Big Ty and Bryce and Nash who have been around for some tough outcomes. But we got to remember there's a lot of guys, Rhule being one of them, first and second year players in this program. And, I'm sure they pick up on some of the baggage of recent years that is connected to Husker football. But if they didn't carry that on their back, that's not really going to be something I think is on their mind or bothering them if it's a tight game late in the third quarter. So, hopefully they've sort of built the mindset. They've very much talked like it throughout the off season that they aren't a team that hasn't been to a bowl since 2016. They aren't a team that went 5-7. They've sounded all off season like a group that believes they're going to win and is shooting really high with their goals. And so you would hope that in those moments there is that belief, like, okay, this just because this bad thing happened, this isn't going to be an avalanche. This isn't going to be the thing where the ball's rolling down the hill and it's going to hit us. So we'll see if they can do it. I'm optimistic they can if it's that kind of game. But until you cross that bridge, it's going to be that question that sort of hangs in the air still.
It's Brian Christopherson with us here as Schmidt and I broadcast from the Single Barrel. Illinois takes the buses outside the window as we speak right now. So they are shortly en route down to the stadium. Brian, I know people tune in to pregame shows such as this one for optimism, for a reason to be excited. So I want to be careful with this next question because I don't want to be too pessimistic. But I want to get your thoughts. If Nebraska does not get it done tonight, how does that change the start to the season in your mind? How does that just change how you view this Husker football team?
Well, it would be disappointing, no question, because there's real juice in the town right now, as you guys know. I mean, all around you, I think it probably feels different than it has some years past. We're not even used to having a 3-0 football team around here in a while, so it would definitely take a little steam out of the engine. That said, I do think they have a coaching staff that if the worst were to happen tonight, sort of looks at everything in a one-game window, and it's like, okay, the next one's Purdue. Let's get back on the track, and you can right this ship. And the big question, I've seen people say, oh, they're going to go 7-0 in Ohio State and all that. I feel like this coaching staff has probably done a good job of getting those guys to not listen much to that. Obviously, they hear some of it and realize you're not good enough to or with enough margin for error to overlook anybody on that road to trying to become that. So just take care of what's in front of you. And, tomorrow morning you wake up, you watch the film, and you go back after it no matter what happens. I think that's what this coaching staff will preach.
Brian Christopherson with us, Hail Varsity Radio. Husker 24/7 Sports is where you can read and find BC. Follow him at Husker 24/7 BC on Twitter. Does Nebraska channel their inner Divino Zigbo? I bring that up because Ziggy went nuts against Illinois for the first conference win in a really weird 2018 season. Does Nebraska run it to win tonight, taking nothing away from what Rhule has been able to do throwing the football? Is that one of your keys tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I think talking to the Illinois writers who cover the team, that's a question they still have about that Illini defense. They've obviously got some gifted guys in the secondary who are going to challenge Rhule and disguise their coverages, but they're giving up 123 on the ground per game against lesser competition so far. I think this is a game where you maybe see Dante Dowdell carry the ball 18, 20 times, and you just hope there's like a drumbeat there where it's like 3 and 4 yards in the first quarter, and then it turns to 6, and then suddenly it's 8, and then boom, there's that explosive play, whether it be off the run or the pass, that sets up maybe a big pass that comes out of that. But I definitely think this is a big night for Donovan Raiola's crew. It really is. Like, I think we've seen the improvement in baby steps, maybe even more than that. But this is a night where, okay, it's Big Ten ball. Even the head coach, Matt Rhule, didn't really want to give an overview of the line 3 games into the season. And he's kind of like, well, it starts on Friday. We'll see how they do in the Big Ten. So this is a good test for them to show, yes, this group has come a long way, like I think they believe they have.
Do you see Mazuka sooner rather than later, or do you think Henry can hold it down at right guard?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've always had a lot of confidence in Henry. Like, I think it was a pretty good competition between Latovsky, Mazuka, and Justin Evans, kind of those 3 guys for the 2 guard spots all off season. And so Latovsky's been a guy who has seen himself as a starter. So it's not like, that's a big, huge question mark. That said, I think Mazuka, whatever he's working through, has NFL talent. And if there is some scuffling, I'm sure, they would turn to him and maybe get some reps and see what he can bring to the table. But hopefully Latovsky's up to the challenge and you just sort of roll with what you've got. And that would be the ideal situation. But it is nice that he's available for Nebraska. That was big news on Wednesday. Earlier in the week, it didn't seem like he was going to be there. So that's big, and it could factor in for sure.
Brian Christopherson with us. BC, we'll see you in the press box in a little bit, but appreciate the insight today.
All right. See you up there, guys.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcast? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Yeah, stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things, uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
This is Stuart Mitchell of Legacy Retirement Communities, inviting you to one of our upcoming What Do I Do With My Stuff seminars. We'll discuss roadblocks and how to start the process. Dates are September 21st at Cornhusker Bank, 8310 O Street at 10:30 a.m., September 24th at the Legacy Estates, and September 25th at the Legacy Terrace. Those 2 are at 1:30 p.m. To RSVP, call Legacy at 402-436-3000.
Consumer warning. Stay away from stablecoin Tether. Tether is a cryptocurrency company with a so-called stablecoin called USDT. It's supposed to be backed 1-for-1 by the US dollar. But Tether's murky past exposes Americans to outsized risk, shady practices, false claims, legal entanglements, deliberate lack of transparency. The United Nations called Tether the preferred choice for regional cyber fraud operations and money launderers. Tether has never published an independent audit of its finances and operations. Financial rating company S&P gave Tether a high-risk rating, a major red flag. Warning, owning a stablecoin that isn't independently audited comes with enormous risk. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Steer clear of stablecoin Tether. Visit tetherwarning.com to learn more. Paid for by Consumers Research.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you here, the single barrel inside the graduate 9th and P, where we're at, getting you geared up till 6. Hail Varsity on the road, Nebraska-Illinois tonight. Motzi will have locally Elkhorn and Waverly High School ball on the radio on KFOR, and then we'll be back here for Real Red Reaction. Stream it. Listen to it. Plenty of insight and opinion on what transpires here at Memorial Stadium. Nebraska, Illinois ranked. It is good stuff. NASCAR Eric has made his way from North Carolina. His boy Caleb is here. We've got a couple of predictions. NASCAR Eric says 27-13, Big Red. Caleb says 70-0. He just says, I'm just going straight for the cover.
I mean, it's
times 9.
That's not Skurs by 90, as our friend. I've lost it now. Is it Abby?
Yes,
Abby.
Abby
said to kick off the show.
Abby in the red cowboy boot or cowgirl boots. Those were wonderful. Cornhusker Cola is asking, why am I still at work? Pat says, at the Iron Kingdom, doing well. Nate is here. I better prep my pork belly cinnamon rolls before the big win tonight. Elijah's been thinking about that.
How about Pat with the pregame ritual, ripping chest day with the Nicorette firing on all cylinders? That's one way to get fired up for game day.
That's pretty good. Dion is here. Dion, good to have you. He's in the Black Hills in his cabin. That's awesome. I got to get back to the Black Hills, man. See Brennan, bump into Dion. We're also hearing from Sexy Grinch, formerly known as Crew. 4 million got 3.
He's also rocking the Nicorette.
He is, yeah. Yeah, well played. I have not made that jump ever. Jonathan says hello. Go Big Red. Appreciate that, Jonathan. As Red Wine is here. He says Alvaro needs to go on a field goal streak. 3-putt checks in, says GBR. Swalen 26. Mr. Schmidt. What's he asking there?
He finished up if you scroll further down.
Okay.
There it is.
Had the pleasure of meeting you at an event last year in Boulder. You're awesome, Swayland. Thank you. Mike is here. John, good to check in. Uncle John's on the board. So we're going through more of the shout outs. Kip is in as well. Kip, good to have you, bud. It says LFG. Kip fired up for Nebraska. Steven is here. Where can I park to come stalk you guys? Steven, if you can find an entrance here on P Street, there was a couple of meters, but that's because the streets were blocked off.
Well, let's be clear. This is not advice. This is just a fact.
Yes.
Anywhere in downtown Lincoln could be a parking spot if you don't care about getting towed.
Or you just are using someone else's vehicle.
Yeah.
So we've got a little Rocky tribute. It looks like Will Compton, busting with the boys, is staring in front of the mirror right now. I don't know if the face paint, maybe, yep, the face paint looks like it's going on. No, he's actually having a dip right now. I thought he was going to do that.
Maybe he'll go hit a chest day as well.
He might, right?
Well, can I ask the question here? I texted this to you last night, Schmitty, and Brian hit on it just a little bit. I want to kind of dive back into it. The question I had for you was, it's an old Winston Churchill quote, perfection is the enemy of progress. And I think a lot of Husker fans want perfection with their Husker football team, and that's understandable. Perfection is what gets you to a college football playoff. It's what gets you a national championship. But with that quote in mind, perfection being the enemy of progress, what does progress look like tonight if it's less than perfection?
Well, progress is winning a game that you're not perfect in, honestly, for this football team. So this looks like Nebraska 9 times out of 10, 75 out of 100. There's going to be a drive or two that Illinois might get some first downs. They might move the football, running the football. They might slam it down your throat on a drive, and then you adjust. You shake the cobwebs. You might give up a big play downfield to a couple of wideouts that are NFL talent in Bryant and Franklin. How do you respond? That's the other part of this. Winning a close ball game, yes, but the other part is when things go wrong or things get a little tight, does Nebraska handle and respond the right way when it goes wrong? Because Matt Rhule has talked about that a lot this year. I want to see what you're like when it ain't going and it ain't all roses. And that's been the team's biggest problem. It's that uh-oh moment. And I know we just beat the hell out of this. I'm sorry, but it's back again until it isn't back again. That moment, that feeling, that sinking moment as Cliff checks in from Florida on the stream as well. Hail Varsity YouTube. Is Nebraska responding to the adversity and then conquering an opponent despite lots of adversity? And the physicality too, right? You're either going to be a team to reckon with physically, and we think that's the case, or you're a team that is going to be circled because, well, Illinois beat the hell out of you. Everyone else is lining up to get their shiv in the side of your ribs.
Yeah, and it's a great point, the adversity. I think we've seen Nebraska do better with that this year.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow what I'm saying. Like that moment against UTEP where they go for 65 yards over Malcolm Hartzog, and I think all of Husker Nation collectively briefly went, uh-oh, maybe we've overhyped this defense. They responded to that really well. I mean, even look at the UTEP game where they go 16 plays and 70 yards and bow up and get a field goal, the Husker defense. These are the moments we're talking about. We haven't seen true adversity where you're truly worried about the results of this game, like a second half, oh no type moment where, you know what, you got a 14-point lead at halftime. Here comes Illinois the first drive after half, and they cut it to 7, and all of Husker Nation collectively clinches a little bit. We haven't seen them respond to that type of adversity. And that's what progress looks like to me is I'm with you. Can they respond to any sort of adversity? Because I think there is going to be some tonight. As much as I think this Husker football team is better than Illinois from a talent point of view, I think Illinois is probably going to get theirs, especially with Altmaier and the weapons they have outside. Nebraska's pass rush is not going to get home every single time. I think there's going to be moments tonight where Illinois sets himself up 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, and has an opportunity to shot play. I think Illinois is going to get theirs through the air. They're going to get theirs offensively. It's an improved offense. How are you able to respond in that moment and, still play up to that standard?
Here's the other part. Bud was talking about diamonds shining anywhere. Pressure also produces diamonds, and it's time for Nebraska to do that. 489-1240 if you're driving in. And you hear us across the Hail Varsity Radio Network and call in with your prediction, how you feeling about tonight. We're here at the Single Barrel. We invite you down, 9th and P pregame, as we're here till 6, getting you ready for Nebraska and Illinois. Postgame, right back here. There'll be whiskey flowing, good, bad, or ugly. 200 whiskeys to choose from, a big old steak for you to mow down. Pork chops, burgers. I mean, it's incredible here at the Single Barrel. We love being here. And you are invited out here till 6. And Real Red Reaction follows. We're here back at the Single Barrel, taking you into the wee hours of the night with Real Red Reaction. Scott checks in. He needs someone to send him a private jet. We're working on that for you, Scott. We'll wind down this first hour.
We're trying to get that sponsorship deal locked up.
It's Hail Varsity, and we're powered by Cornhead Lager.
Slim Chickens makes it easy to feed your hungry crowd. Fresh, hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, and all the southern sides made fresh for you. It's easy. Just order on the Slim's app or website and leave everything to us. You can get it delivered right to your door. Any party, any size. Slim's has your crowd covered. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Time is of the essence with COVID-19. Prescription oral treatment must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Learn more at treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is great because you're rarely rewarded for just being you. Ever get rewarded for being left-handed? No. You get to use weird scissors. Your reward for being a Capricorn? Cold birthdays that conflict with the holidays. And your reward for quickly responding to every work email? More emails. But with Snapshot, even left-handed Capricorns with proper email etiquette could get rewarded for good driving. So download the Progressive app today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
Time is of the essence with COVID-19. Prescription oral treatment must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Learn more at treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hello, neighbor from Super C Convenience Stores. Have you downloaded Super C Rewards yet? You are missing out. You just swipe and save every day with the new Super C Rewards app. You could be getting 5 cents off a gallon of gas. You should be getting triple points on Wednesdays and double points on free-for-all Fridays. You'd be getting points on the dollars you spend and redeeming them for free stuff. You need to swipe and save every day with Super C Rewards. You can download now from Google Play and the Apple Store.
Save big on your next project. Right now at Menards. Get cleaner clothes and softer skin with Morton water softeners. Morton's Wi-Fi integration allows for tracking and alerts, which puts you in control of your water while at home or away. Morton's look-ahead technology learns and predicts your water needs, saving you money. Save big on Morton water softeners, and don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The bakers of Country Hearth and Village Hearth breads are proud to support local education with Loaves for Learning, the program that makes it easy to earn money for your school. Enjoy Country Hearth and Village Hearth all-natural breads, buns, bagels, and more. Then save the UPC from the package for your school to collect and redeem.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back here at the Single Barrel ahead of Nebraska-Illinois as we get you geared up for kickoff coming a little bit later. Chris Schmidt has escaped somewhere in the Single Barrel to an unknown destination. So it's Elijah Herbal holding it down for you right now as we wrap up hour one and get you into hour two. A lot of good stuff coming your way in hour two as we'll have Brandon Vogel as Schmidt speed walks his way across the Single Barrel here to get back. Brandon Vogel joins us to kick off hour two. Bill Dolman's going to be on the call for the network tonight, so no Billy D. We hope to have him for our post-game show, though. Brandon Vogel kicks off hour two. We'll also have a Claus burn sighting as the imaginary Claus joins us for another edition of the Friday Forecast, getting our picks locked in for the weekend slate of college football, including tonight's Nebraska-Illinois game. And Schmidt, we were discussing this before the show. This line moving yet again in Nebraska's favor. All week long, it had ticked down. I think it opened at 10.5, moves to 9.5, 8.5, down to 7.5.
7.
The latest I'm seeing is, depending on where you get it, either 9 or 9.5, as we've had some late buyback towards Nebraska with our friends out in the desert today. So I think is that where we're going to set the line for the Friday forecast, 9.5?
I put it at 7.5.
And that's where it was as of last night, but it's ticked back up in Nebraska's favor as the day moves on. I want us to be accurate here.
I think we need to set it. Let's just go happy meat. Let's just say 8.5. It's somewhere between 9.5.
I can do that.
Somewhere between 7.5. Get that way. Incredible to see so many folks out here at the Single Barrel 9th and P, where we're at here till 6 o'clock. Then Real Red Reaction. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Will Wilson. Great to be with you. Phone call. as Brian from Virginia Beach.
So this is other Brian.
The other Brian is with us. Brian, thanks for checking in, brother. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, boys? Couldn't make it in town this week, so I figured I'd call. But, yeah, I think Huskers take care of business tonight. 31-17, cover the spread. The place should be on fire, I hope. But, anyway, I think they take care of it. Go Big Red, baby. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Brian. Thanks for checking in. Always appreciate you listening, man. And Brian was not only at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in Gretna, he was here at the Single Barrel. And I think we can point to Brian and the defensive line for why Colorado happened the way it did. That combination.
Yeah.
It's like me and Jordan. We averaged, me and Jordan together, we averaged 40 points in the playoffs one year.
Did that come through on the mics? Well, that was kind of cool. Yeah,
Will's like, pour me one.
We did have a slight voice crack in the big on the Go Big Red, but the people responded in kind. So the vibe is picking up down here, Schmitty.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is almost post time. It's 5 o'clock. And that is the universal time to pour one, hoist one, and get your weekend going. Do it with us here down at the Single Barrel 9th and P, and be smart as you're partying and having a good time tonight. And what I mean by that is, it's got to be a reality. Buckle up for safety for sure. Use your seatbelt. It saves lives. It prevents injuries only if properly worn. Make it click. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. There's a lot of tall boys being served.
Yeah, and to go along with that, sober driver.
Please.
9-day sober driver home from the game tonight.
Absolutely. Here at the Single Barrel Roadshow, Hail Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager, Hour 2 on the way with Hail Varsity.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Before Jocelyn Reyna earned a full-ride scholarship to UNL and became a young professional, she was a public school student in Grand Island.
I wouldn't be where I am today without my public school teachers. My family and I moved from Mexico when I was in the 4th grade. I worked hard in school, and my teachers encouraged me to be a better version of myself. I'm proud of my public school experience. It changed my life.
Tell us why you're public school proud at publicschoolproudnebraska.org.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This is your station for local news, talk, sports, and weather. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm
I'm Daria Albinger. Kamala Harris in Georgia, the Democratic presidential nominee, focusing on women's health care.
In Georgia today, Vice President Harris will speak about what her campaign calls the dangerous consequences of abortion bans in states across the country. And she'll again blame former President Donald Trump for appointing justices to the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. Harris plans to address the deaths of Georgia women under the state's strict abortion bans. She met Thursday in Michigan with the family of one of those women. The vice president today is expected to call out Trump for saying he'll vote in Florida for an abortion ban that's similar to the one in Georgia. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
North Carolina's Republican candidate for governor will not appear at former President Trump's rally there tomorrow. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is accused of posting disturbing messages on social media, including allegedly referring to himself as a black Nazi. Early in-person voting began today in several states. Carly Witherell cast her ballot today in Minnesota.
I think life gets really busy, and this was a very big priority in my life, and also being able to vote early helps me kind of push others to vote early as well.
Early voting also underway in Virginia and South Dakota. Israeli Defense Forces say Hezbollah leader Ibrahim Akil was killed in an airstrike today in Lebanon.
This was a significant strike happening again in the Hezbollah stronghold. We have seen pictures showing the devastation. 2 residential buildings sustaining very heavy damage there. And we know from Lebanese officials that there was a rescue operation underway to try to reach people who were trapped in the rubble.
ABC's Marcus Moore in Beirut. The FTC is suing the nation's largest prescription middlemen, accusing them of inflating insulin prices. Caremark RX, Express Scripts, and OptumRx administer about 80% of all prescriptions in the U.S. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1.
Plan ahead to get to the football game. Hello, I'm Will Wilson. It's 92 degrees at KFOR. If you are heading to the Nebraska-Illinois football game tonight at Memorial Stadium, Lincoln Police are encouraging you to arrive as early as possible. LPD Public Information Manager Erica Thomas says officers will be busy with directing traffic before and after the game and helping with security inside the stadium.
Please be patient with our officers as well. It's busy. There's a lot of events going on tonight across the city, not just the game. So there will likely be, slow traffic.
Most of the traffic and security detail will be handled by off-duty officers. There's also road work and lane restrictions close to the stadium. If you have checked your mail anytime this week, chances are you may have received something about early voting applications from third-party organizations and campaigns that wasn't sent out by the Nebraska Secretary of State's office, and county election offices across the state sent out their own early voting postcards in July and August. The Secretary of State's office, though, has taken several complaints about the third-party early voting applications. Secretary of State Bob Ebden tells KFOR News some third-party voting organizations rely on outdated postal service addresses and information when contacting voters.
One of the problems with this is that people say, well, the voter list is not right. Our voter lists are faulty. These people are not using voter lists. They're using other lists, and it confuses people.
If you get more of these mailings, contact the local election office or the Secretary of State's office. The Nebraska Department of Labor today says the state's unemployment rate for August was 2.7%, up from the 2.6% in July. That puts Nebraska 5th nationally for the lowest unemployment rate. In Lincoln, August's employment rate was 2.6%, a bump up from the 2.5% in July, according to the Department of Labor. High school football tonight on KFOR features Class B number 6 Waverly hosting number 9 Elkhorn. You can join Jeff Moats for the play-by-play with coverage starting at 6:50, brought to you by the KFOR Sportscasters Club. Partly cloudy during the game tonight, then a slight chance of thunderstorms overnight with a low near 69. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
KFOR is your home for Kansas City Chiefs football.
To the Ravens 10, for touchdown, Kansas City.
Every snap, every play, every touchdown.
It's picked up by Shamari Carter. He goes to the 10-5. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Hear it all here. Follow the road to Super Bowl 59 as KC tries to make it 3. Kansas City Chiefs football is on KFOR.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Back with you at Hail Varsity. We're powered by Cornhead Lager. Chris Schmidt, that is not Elijah Herbal, next to me, Junior, is commandeered the headphones. Elijah's like, dude, you stay as long as you want. Will Wilson back in studio. We're here on the road at the Single Barrel, 9th and P, getting you ready for Nebraska and Illinois. Brandon Vogel with us from Counter Read, counterread.com, as we have a official injury update for Nebraska, Vogues, to start things off. Out tonight, Bly Hill, Ramir Stewart, a couple of defensive backs, of course, Buda Wright, and then Tyler Canuck, the backup guard from Utah. So that's that. Everyone else seems to be good. Also questionable is Tristan Elvano. Hole might indeed get the nod. Elijah was alluding to that earlier. Folks, how's your week been? It's Nebraska-Illinois. We've seen Coach Bielema and his teams 100 times. This time, again, it's Illinois, not Wisconsin. But how's your Friday feels? Not just big picture for, all 4 quarters tonight, but just as the weeks progressed, what's kind of stuck out and intrigued you about this matchup tonight? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's felt shorter somehow than those road games where Nebraska played on a Friday. I felt like that. Maybe it's just being in Lincoln and seeing like the mountains that need to be moved just logistically to host a game at Memorial Stadium on a Friday night. Like, it's one thing to go to Rutgers. That's like Rutgers' problem. Nebraska just has to be there for kickoff. Here, it feels a little bit different, but you mentioned the injury updates. Have been kind of waiting for that to come through. Nebraska, knock on wood, to this point, I think has been pretty fortunate in that regard. You had the Prohaska injury during fall camp, but for the most part, like, stayed healthy through 3 games, and hopefully that can continue for a 4th. This Illinois team's intriguing. I don't know a lot of people that would have pegged them at 3-0, but got that win over Kansas by being pretty positive in turnover margin. So that's important in every game. Nebraska's put an emphasis on it. Illinois is where it is, partly because it's where it's at in terms of turnover margin, and I think it's the most complete team Nebraska has faced thus far in terms of both offense, defense, but run pass as well. So it's gonna be an intriguing one.
Brandon, when you talk about that run pass, that balanced offense that Illinois has shown through the first 3 games, you can say the same about Nebraska. It's been pretty close to an even run pass split every single game, at least whenever the game's still in question before the starters have left the field. Do you think one of the keys for tonight could be whichever team has a more balanced offense? I mean, a lot of people this week, myself included, have talked about the importance of a strong running game, and I believe that. But I also think Nebraska knows what they have in Dylan Rhule. That's a very, very special talent. You can't just let that guy hand the ball off all game. You have to give that Illinois defense a threat of the pass. Could it be a game tonight that whichever team can find more balance offensively comes out on top?
Yeah, I think so. Neither Nebraska nor Illinois' run games like blow anybody out of the water through the first 3 games, but Nebraska has done a better job of staying on schedule that way. than Illinois has, and I think it could be an edge here through the first three games. I think we saw Nebraska really try to run a lot of stuff in over against their first three opponents. This is one where I could potentially see Nebraska kind of going with a old approach from last year, where they really put an emphasis on the run and see if they can exploit a potential advantage there. The other thing that you mentioned, the evenness of it, and it has been even for Nebraska. I almost have to count a lot of the RPO stuff that Nebraska is doing as run plays. I mean, that's the advantage of an RPO, right? Like you get to throw a forward pass while asking your line to run block. So if you look at it that way, Nebraska is still pretty run focused. So when you look at this Nebraska offense against the Illinois offense, it kind of becomes the efficiency, the kind of down to down control the game edge Nebraska. Explosiveness edge, though, way in the favor of Illinois when the Illini have the ball.
Brandon Vogel with us from Counterread, counterread.com. And Vogue, something we touched on in the first hour was the impetus for tonight beyond where, the feel-good part of things that Nebraska fans are smiling. It's been good vibes. It was great vibes after Colorado. It was, so. How does the uneven performance or the lack of standard, if you ask the defense, how does that apply to tonight? Does tonight do anything to solidify you and your belief in this team as far as how good they can be? I think my biggest question is I think you've got a phenom at quarterback that when push comes to shove can go make some plays for you. And if he has a bad night, it's not going to derail him. I believe that. I think your offensive line, you can lean on that middle and you can run right, specifically if Mizuka's in, and be okay. I think Dowdell could be a difference maker. And I think the defense is as good as advertised and they're confident. All that being said, based on what I've seen, I just don't know how good Nebraska is. I've reassessed my ceiling that 8-4 might be too low, but I don't know yet. I don't know if tonight will even tell me that they might be 10-win good. I just don't know where they are. What's the chasm? What's the gap between the Ohio States of the world? Who else is playoff bound? Who's number one in the country? Georgia,
Tennessee, Texas.
Right. I mean, those are four dudes, right? And then there's Nebraska. Can they be good this quick? I don't know. Does tonight do anything for you to give you some more evidence?
I mean, if Nebraska were to come out and were to continue to control the game, I mentioned this in some of the stuff I wrote this week. Nebraska hasn't trailed this season. That's a big deal. But I would agree with you. There's still a gap there from what we've seen Texas do, Alabama to this point, and Nebraska. If Nebraska is to be considered a potential playoff team, and there's a lot of road to go. We're talking like 2015 Iowa type of year to get there. Thin margins, but if you keep winning, you got a chance. So if Nebraska were to come out and this game looks, like a 7, 8, 9, 10 point Nebraska win, and they keep things in control, that would nudge the ball forward for me in terms of what I think is possible. Really getting any win here kind of keeps you going. It's an interesting. I think I've been thinking a lot this week about last year's Illinois game. Nebraska was 2-3, had just been absolutely hammered by Michigan. It was almost like the Wolverines knew what was coming in that game, and Matt Rhule put a lot of eggs in that basket in terms of saying we're going to find out who we are, and Nebraska answered the call for that one, kicked off the 3-game winning streak. Now it's different. Now you're trying to protect something. Illinois absolutely deserves to be ranked in the top 25 at this point. I would be surprised if Illinois is there at the end of the season, but it's possible. So can Nebraska go out and play like it's the better team? I think that's the ultimate barometer of what would kind of elevate things beyond what we've already seen from Nebraska, which has been extremely positive.
Brandon, does the ranked v. ranked nature of tonight's game mean anything extra to you with as long as it's been since we've had a ranked v. ranked game at Memorial Stadium, or is that just a national media talking point in your eyes? Does that actually add to what this game means in your eyes, or is it just another opponent?
For me, who doesn't have to take any snaps, I think it does add something. The fact that it's been a while, I think it kind of highlights a little bit the nature of kind of what's at stake. This is going to be a national spotlight game by virtue of being on Friday, and it allows Nebraska potentially to not that I'm worried about them taking Illinois lightly, but it just kind of underscores the point of, hey, they're undefeated too, and you have to play well. Is that different if Illinois is in the receiving votes category? Maybe a little bit. It's not like I think the players pay a ton of attention to that, but so I do think it adds something. And we look at Illinois. I just said they deserve to be in the top 25 right now, and I think they do. That's largely based on getting credit for beating Kansas, which was a ranked team then, isn't now. If Nebraska is able to get a win tonight, it'll get some credit for that as well. It's kind of a statistical anomaly a little bit, but Matt Rhule hasn't beaten a top 25 team since he was at Temple. Wasn't able to do it at Baylor. Now that involved a lot of top 15 teams, not just top 25, and then went, I think, 0-3 against top 25 teams a year ago at Nebraska. So not that I think he's thinking about that, but it would be nice to kind of scratch that one off the checklist.
Our friend Vic in Denver is a paid subscriber, but not a paid advertiser. And he is like Brandon's columns on Counter Read are a great deep dive into these things. He gets to hit quickly on the show. Highly recommended. And Vic, you are the smartest man alive.
And I can add to that. My brother Ben, sitting here across the bar, he loves Counter Read every single week.
Yes.
He waits for that weekly newsletter. So credit to you, Brandon, keeping everyone informed. Appreciate having you on here for this pregame show as well.
Imagine the scene in Billy Madison where Billy goes to the mailbox on Tuesday. It's better than that scene in the movie, right, Vogues?
I hope so. And thank you to those people who are saying it. Like, it really, when you break it down, like, I love college football. I love writing about it. And the hope is you create something that's fun and or useful. And if you can get to both of those at the same time, that's always the goal. So it's nice to hear that that resonates with people when that's the case.
Brandon, I know you love your deep dives on stats as well on Counter Read. Give me one stat that means more to you than anything else as you preview this game between Nebraska and Illinois. What's the stat that you think might tell the story tonight?
Yeah. So each week in our game preview, I try to boil it down to three keys. And I try to stick to the stuff that's replicable. I think the key indicator for me in this one, and you can measure it by yards per carry, or you could get into some deeper kind of analytic stuff. But I think how well Nebraska runs the ball is what's going to tell you how the game's going overall. If Nebraska is able to be at its season average against the best defense it's faced, I think without question, which is about 4.7 yards per carry. If it's hitting that number, which isn't about average number nationally, I think it's in pretty good shape. One of the more kind of random / volatile ones, but when you look at the role takeaways that played in Illinois' season to this point, and the fact that Luke Altmaier, Illinois quarterback, who was interception prone a year ago, has yet to throw one. I think the defense that ends up with more interceptions in that game could be 1-0, could be 2-1, whatever it is. I think that's going to be a really key indicator too. And that one's a little bit more random, but that's another number I'm going to be watching closely. If you told me Nebraska has 2 picks and Illinois defense has 1, I would be feel pretty confident that Nebraska gets the win.
Brandon Vogel with his Counter Read, counterread.com here at the Single Barrel inside the Graduate Vogues. I need to know how folks can subscribe to Counter Read with you and Aaron Sorensen. I also need to give me one of your memories as we celebrate 400 sellouts.
Yeah, you can head to counterread.com. It's twice weekly newsletter for subscribers. We also do a couple of free things a week. So if you want to check us out for free, you can subscribe for free, get a free 7-day trial that gives you access to everything. So that's a full game week. If you want to do that, you'll see everything that we do, and then hopefully like it enough to become a paid subscriber and get those subscriber exclusives each week. So this week, for example, had a kind of Sunday or Monday review of the UNI game, had a Thursday preview it was Wednesday this week for Illinois, previewed Stanford Nebraska volleyball match, which went quite well for the Huskers. And then we had our game day guide today. So that's kind of what our in-season weeks are like. 400 sellout, pretty momentous night for Nebraska based on that alone. My first game and I grew up way out west, so we didn't make it to mini games, but somehow we got into the 1987 Nebraska-Oklahoma game, game of the century 2. I remember my brother, who's 4 years younger than me, got too sick to go to the game, but I remember sitting up underneath the West Stadium, the overhang, brutally cold, late November. But that was my first experience to Nebraska football in person. Huskers didn't come away with a win in that one, but pretty memorable for just the whole scene. Being in downtown Lincoln, we stayed at the Cornhusker, and that was the start of things for me.
That's also the first time I remember seeing a Eisenhower Beaver jacket that Jamel Holloway was wearing on the sidelines. That at least brought a little smile to a sad day of 17-7. Vogues will check in the morning. Big Cat, thanks for making time today to preview Nebraska-Illinois. We appreciate you greatly.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
There he is, Brandon Vogel with his Counter Read, counterread.com. Clausburn is next.
The perfect place to go for lunch every day. Herd at Sports Bar and Grill. Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long? Herd at Sports Bar and Grill. Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday? Herd at Sports Bar and Grill. Herd at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista. Herd at Sports Bar and Grill.
Hello from the 1011 newsroom. Madison Pitch here. As we march toward the election, signs are cropping up in Lincoln. We take a look at the rules as a couple of signs have been vandalized. Plus, it's been certified, but it's back in court. What's next for the medical marijuana initiative? We've got more news, weather, and sports tonight on 1011. I hope you can join us.
Warhorse Casino is where fans always walk away as winners. Where else can you watch the game and win Monday night tailgate drawings like Chiefs tickets, Yeti coolers, free slot play, and cold, hard cash? Play any of your favorite games to enter and multiply your chances of winning with our 5 times entry multiplier every Friday. That's 5 entries for every 10 points earned. Not only are we celebrating the fans, we're celebrating 2 years of Warhorse this September. Join the party with our special anniversary scratch-off kiosk game every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. You can play up to 3 times a day for your chance to win up to $1,000 cash, $500 free slot play, and $2,500 bonus entries for Tailgate Mondays. We've got all that and over 400 slots, sports betting, simulcast horse racing, and 24/7 gaming action. Only at Warhorse Casino Lincoln. Minutes from downtown at Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Troy, fall is finally here, and that means one thing.
Tailgating.
Wait, that's not one thing, Troy.
What if we combine them?
Into what, tailball?
Ew.
Let's try this again. Fall is finally here, and that means two things. Football
And tailgating. And Bish's RV is giving you the ultimate tailgating sale, September 19th through the 21st.
Get employee pricing on select RVs.
That's right. Get employee pricing by clicking the Get Lowest Price button at Bish's.com/tailgating sale.
Find payments starting under $149 per month on approved credit and 90 days of all play and no pay OAC.
Plus, purchase a new RV and receive a 65-inch TV. You can also enter to win a TV during the event. No purchase necessary. See dealer for details.
And we're hosting our own tailgating party September 21st with free food from...
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
All right, we will try and effort Clausburn. There are very naughty comments about Coach Bielema in the stream. We welcome you back to the Single Barrel inside the Graduate, 9th and P. It's where we're at. It's Hail Varsity. We're powered by Cornhead Lager. Golden Fang says I've got a bandolier of silver bullets around my neck. I tried to order Cornhead Lager, and, well...
We already drank them dry.
Right. We're working on that. Steven checks in and just lets the world know if Bert lets it fly, duck and cover.
Okay, I said this to my roommate last night. I don't think he necessarily saw the humor in it like I did. Does Brett Bielema not look like the type of guy that you run into on any one of the gas stations along I-80 as you're driving up to Colorado or driving east?
You're paying your tab?
Well, I'm saying like at a gas station, as you stop in there to go like get gas and grab a snack, he just seems like the type of guy you'd run into at a gas station in rural Nebraska, you know?
Yeah.
See, you don't get it either. It's maybe it's a little too niche.
You are a connoisseur.
Maybe it's just a me thing.
Of nacho cheese and gas station grilled hot
That's
dogs.
what I'm saying. He seems like he would be too.
You'd be sitting there talking about technique, how to put the nacho cheese on it. Great Red Shark says Schmitty is speedballing beer and coffee. Just get an Irish coffee and call it even. Do we have Claus? No,
still no Claus. We'll effort again at 5:40.
We can.
I know. We tried to do the curveball, the change up, and go 5:25 today, but
yeah, he was aware of that. So let me check with that. But 489-1240, 489-1240, 800-825-5865 to get involved. We're taking a lot of your comments, and so far the winner has been NASCAR Eric's son, Caleb. Okay, so Claus says the phone hasn't rang.
Let's have him call us.
Yeah. Let's. I'm going to take a jackhammer, blowtorch, and sledgehammer to that phone system.
We had Justice in for his first training day on Wednesday, and I'm like, I've been working here for 5 years now, and I couldn't manage to work the phones, so I blame the phones and not myself. That has been a common issue this week, so that's what I'm going to go with because I don't want to be the idiot who couldn't run it. They do
They're
terrible.
awful. And
this is getting,
and you went with a major company. It's supposed to be. We're not going to get sued here, but it's just brutal. We were fine before.
My problem with it, and Will can speak to this with the.
I just want to say, I think we got the Claus man on here.
Okay,
and that's been the problem. Is you used to have to use the handheld phone on that bottom bank, and then the top bank was how you called out.
Nobody gives a damn except when they're trying to call in.
Yeah,
right?
and now you can't move from bottom bank up to top bank without it just automatically hanging up on people. It's been a real mess. So if anyone started calling this week and had issues, we thank you for your patience. But
Yes.
I believe we have Claus, correct?
Claus, it is game day. It is ranked. It is 400 sellouts. The bunny is even downtown. Claus, how are we doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. I want to take a moment just to be a little bit serious and wish our good friend Greg Sharp good luck with his procedure as he continues to battle his illness. We wish him all the best, a great broadcaster and family man. And then also to wish good luck and great broadcast to our good friend, Bill Dolman. He's obviously been at this a long time. He's very instrumental in your career, Christopher. And he obviously did a great job in escorting the Khaleesi across the narrow sea to take the Iron Throne of Westeros. So looking forward to hearing him tonight.
That's pretty good.
Claus, you did text that, what's the character's name again? Jorah Mormont. Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I see it and I smiled about it. I'm still looking for Khaleesi, but that works well. Without further ado, let's get into some Friday forecast picks. We may bleed into the 540 segment with this. All right, let's get it done. Here at the Single Barrel in front of Nebraska-Illinois off to Memorial Stadium. And we'll have our Nebraska pick. Let's do the old "you fired me and it's time to open a can on you" bowl down in Norman. Tennessee rolls in. Vols -7.5. It's been a 10-year run for Heupel. Got blown out, as did Jay Norvell, by Mr. Stoops. Well, Heupel ended up going to Central Florida and then to Tennessee. He hit a few gas station hot dogs on the way compared to his playing days a quarter century ago. But it's working out. We're big Mike Eckler guys here on Hail Varsity. Tennessee rolls OU. Venables is going to need a mouthpiece and helmet to walk into Norman next week. Tennessee 31-17. Easy cover for the Vols, Elijah.
I think the big wild card in this game is Tennessee hasn't played a running defense like Oklahoma has this year. Tennessee has run the ball all over everybody they've played. Oklahoma, their run defense is the strength of that defense, and I think Venables is going to keep a young redshirt freshman quarterback a little bit uneasy in the pocket with some of the coverages they're going to show him. I think Tennessee wins, but I think Oklahoma covers in this spot. Give me Tennessee 31 and Oklahoma 24. So a tight cover. Tennessee wins, but Oklahoma makes some money.
What do you say, Will? You going Rocky Top or you going Boomer?
Yeah, I'm going to go Rocky Top 38, Oklahoma 34.
Okay, so yes on the overs, says Will Wilson. Claus, what do you got here? Do you got Rocky Top or do you have OU?
Well, obviously, I've got pretty good feelings now that I don't have to play them every year about Oklahoma. But it's hard not to root for Josh Heupel, a guy who had, went the junior college route, came to the big leagues and won a national championship and had sort of an up-and-down situation as an assistant. And now seeing him do well is both, well, it's gratifying and also annoying. Hate to see that somebody else was able to hire a UCF Knight that worked out. So I'll go with Tennessee. I don't think it's particularly close. I think they've got a great quarterback who's saying, I'm going to leave a 50 burger on him. Tennessee 50 and Oklahoma 35.
Let's head to the big house as it is the Friday forecast on Hail Varsity here at the Single Barrel. The imaginary wearing red Clausburn is with us. USC 5.5 favored on the road at Michigan. Michigan's a mess. They've made a quarterback change, and SC's already made a believer out of some, beating LSU. I think USC's too good, too talented, too balanced, and they're better physically and defensively, and Michigan's offense is still lost. Give me USC 27, give me Michigan 17, and a win and cover for the Trojans. Elijah.
Something about this game, I keep on coming back to Michigan here. I haven't seen enough from USC's defense to truly anoint them yet because they haven't played a power rushing attack like Michigan. I'll also add to it, Michigan backs against the wall. You're a team that is honestly not going to make the college football playoff this year if you lose this game because I don't think they're beating Ohio State at the end of the year with how Ohio State's built. So I'm going to take Michigan outright in this game. They have more to play for. I think I think they're going to be able to run the ball with success and keep USC's offense off the field. Lower scoring game than people think. Michigan at 24, USC at 20. Michigan with a shocker in Ann Arbor tomorrow.
What do you say, Will?
I think Michigan lost to a really good Texas team. I'm going to go Michigan 28, USC 24.
Okay, Claus, what say you, SC or Michigan?
Well, I'm kind of torn on this one because I think Michigan's probably only about an 8-win team. But then again, as you've learned, Christopher, over the years, you can never trust the Trojans to cover.
Thank you, Claus.
I think I'd probably take USC, and I think it's just barely a cover. I'll take USC 26 and Michigan 20.
Okay, let's sneak in Utah, Oklahoma State, the Fighting Gundies. Favored by 2.5. Utah questioned at quarterback, but they are physical. They are good. This will be a good ball game. Guess what, fellas? We all get to watch because we're playing tonight and covering tonight. Oklahoma State, I think Utah is just too tough. I think they smack around Oklahoma State and do it pretty convincingly. 21, make that 28-17. Give me Utah over Oklahoma State, Elijah.
Yeah, both these teams want to run the football. Oklahoma State's rushing attack hasn't been what people expected coming into this year, and for that reason, I think this line's wrong. I don't think Oklahoma State should be the favorite team. I think Utah, despite the fact they're on the road, should be the favorite team here. I'm going to take Utah outright in this one. I think it's lower scoring. I think the game moves pretty quick. Give me 20-14. The Utes take down the Okies.
What do you say, Will? You going Utah or you going Oklahoma State?
I'm a sucker. I'll go Okie State 34, Utah 28.
Okay. Claus, how about you? You going with the Cowboys and the Fighting Bullets? You're going with Utah?
Well, it's an interesting matchup. They've got each got a coach that I think could probably walk out before the game to the 50-yard line, kick a puppy, moon the school president, and flip the double birds to the crowd, and they still would have a discussion about whether or not they should even reprimand him, let alone fire him. So I think Mike Gundy recently endeared himself even further to the Okie State crowd when he stopped down a press conference to fix the compressor on a refrigerator, which probably indicates to their fan base that he's got the skills to tune up any and all primered IROC Camaros or rusted out 70s Broncos that they drove to the game. So he'll have a lot of support behind him. And I think his team wins a close one, 31, and Utah 28.
That is Clausburn at Hale Varsity. We're powered by Cornhead Lager. We're on the road here at the Single Barrel inside the Graduate 9th and P. Real Red Reaction follows. We are here right after Nebraska and Illinois finish up. We'll be back here taking you into the wee hours of the night. Several cars driving by with big red flags. The third largest city in the great state of Nebraska is alive and well for sellout number 400. Some more Friday forecast, a double feature, kind of like that double album of physical graffiti. We'll dive in.
That's what you went with?
What?
That was the double album you picked of all the double albums?
I guess I could have gone The Wall.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what you were thinking? Okay. That's your call? That's your... Sorry, it's what first came to mind. Anywho, enough Zeppelin talk. We'll get Nebraska's call with Clausburn on the way.
Imagine cuddled up next to the hearth on a winter evening, a fire crackling in the fireplace. If you've been imagining a new fireplace, now is the time to buy during Capital Patio and Flame Shop's biggest sale of the year. Now through the end of September, save on brands like Cozy Heat of Pacific Energy, gas, wood, or electric, insert, or stove. Capital Patio has the styles to warm your home. Get extended discounts during Capital Patio and Flame Shop's biggest sale of the year. Shop now at 5500 Old Cheney Road, Lincoln.
Have you lost weight in the past but gained it all back and more? Hi, this is Dr. K with Lincoln Weight Loss, and we know the secret to losing weight and keeping it off long-term without drugs or injections. Lincoln Weight Loss can help you lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two and keep it off without prepackaged meals, no exercising, no hormones, no injections, no drugs or surgery. Go to LincolnWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's Schmitty here. Are you ready to hit the pool this weekend? I'm more than ready than I used to be after I dropped 30 pounds with the help of Lincoln Weight Loss. To learn about this great program, go to LincolnWeightLoss.com now to schedule your free consultation. Their staff will walk you through the entire program, talk about your health goals, and see if it's a good fit for you. Call 402-520-8170. That's 402-520-8170, or go to LincolnWeightLoss.com. That's LincolnWeightLoss.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Consumer warning. Stay away from stablecoin Tether. Tether is a cryptocurrency company with a so-called stablecoin called USDT. It's supposed to be backed one for one by the US dollar. But Tether's murky past exposes Americans to outsized risk, shady practices, false claims, legal entanglements, deliberate lack of transparency. The United Nations called Tether the preferred choice for regional cyber fraud operations and money launderers. Tether has never published an independent audit of its finances and operations. Financial rating company S&P gave Tether a high-risk rating, a major red flag. Warning, owning a stablecoin that isn't independently audited.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you here at the Single Barrel. It's Hail Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Will Wilson, the infamous, imaginary, wearing red Claus V is with us as we are doing part two of the Friday forecast. Without further ado, let's fire it up. We'll get our Nebraska predictions in as well. Kansas State is at BYU. I like Avery Johnson. I like Kansas State. BYU's old, veteran, and physical. I think K-State wins, but, man, they get scared. K-State's offense is good enough. 35-31, K-State wins, BYU cover.
After what I saw last week from K-State, impressed by their performance. Don't have much to add. I like Avery Johnson. I think they roll. Give me K-State 34, BYU 17.
Will, what do you say?
Yeah, I'll go K-State 21, BYU 18.
Okay. There we go, Will Wilson. Claus, where are you going here? The Wildcats or the Cougars?
Well, I would very much love to see Avery Johnson, or as I call him, Mr. Golden Hair, go into BYU and give them a little turnabout as fair play, showing up at their home on a Saturday uninvited and ruining it. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of BYU this year, so I asked Nance to go ahead and watch some BYU game film, and she told me that one of their star players had a swinging scandal, and probably the biggest leader of the group just up and quit. And it was at that point that I had to inform her that BYU game film cannot be found on Hulu. That was Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So I have no frame of reference. I just like Kansas State more. I'll take them 28 and BYU 21.
That was too good. Show up and ruin your Saturday. Rutgers is at Virginia Tech. This is big. And Rutgers allows their running back to just go wild. And I think Virginia Tech says, we don't want it to happen, but it's gonna. So give me the Scarlet Knights on the road. Tied ball game, 24-21, outright win as an underdog for the Scarlet Knights.
I don't get this line. For as much as we've hyped up Rutgers all offseason to start off the year, I was not expecting Virginia Tech to be a 3.5-point favorite. That makes me wonder, what does Vegas know? And Vegas tends to know something.
Virginia Tech's not good this year.
Yeah, but they're favored, and that's what doesn't quite make sense to me. I know Blacksburg's a tough place to play. I'm going to go with Vegas here because I think that's better for Nebraska's season if Rutgers doesn't have steam coming into Lincoln here in a couple of weeks. So give me Virginia Tech 24, Rutgers 20.
What do you say, Will? You going with the Scarlet Knights or Virginia Tech?
I'll go Vodtech. I'll take them 17-14.
Okay. Claus, where are you leaning here? East Coast or Virginia?
Well, it's been a big week already for Virginia Tech fans. It was announced recently that Metallica is going to be playing a full concert there. Of course, they've been coming out to Enter Sandman for a long time now, so it's pretty exciting to see that band actually playing at their stadium. But as good as James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett are at handling the axe, we all know it's Greg Schiano that chops the wood. Rutgers 24 and Virginia Tech 21.
Well played, Claus. Without further ado, let us get to Nebraska and Illinois. This is about turnovers. This is about rushing offense. This is about 400 consecutive sellouts. The difference is the energy. The energy is going to be Nebraska in some tight moments, persevering. Nebraska gets it done. That line has been all sorts of wiggly this week, from 7.5 to 8.5 to 9.5 to starting at 10.5. Nebraska gets it handled by double digits tonight, 24-13. The black shirts come to play. Dylan does his job. Dowdell able to find some running lanes, and the Huskers handle it and cover. Elijah.
I think a big key here for Nebraska is the ability to play with the lead. If they can jump out on Illinois and make that Illinois team one-dimensional, I really don't think Illinois stands a chance in this football game. The big key to me is which offense can be more balanced. A lot of people talk about the importance of Nebraska getting a rushing attack this week. I think Nebraska has shown us through 3 games what they are and what they want to be is a balanced offense. I think Dylan Ryle is still going to get plenty of chances to drop back, pick apart the Illinois defense. It's not going to go perfectly. He probably throws a pick at some point in time. There might be some nervous energy in Memorial Stadium, but I think Nebraska's going to be able to keep a balanced offense throughout the game more than Illinois is. I think Illinois' rushing attack fails them. And I think Nebraska gets a 28-17 win and cover against the Illini tonight.
All right, we're both at 11. Will Wilson, what say you?
Well, this is the second time, Schmidt, you and I have picked the exact same score, and I guess we're going to do it again. 28-13, Nebraska.
Great minds think alike, right?
I think I said 20. Did I say 28 or 24? I thought I said 24-13.
Maybe you did say 24. Okay, we're good then. Never mind.
No, we're good. But bottom line is we're both leaning Nebraska. This might be dangerous. Clausburn, what do you say? Nebraska, Illinois, 2 ranked squads, and 400 sellouts. Bud, what's Claus say? What's the crystal ball reveal?
Well, first of all, I want to alert all your listeners. I saw an interview this week with the famous Nebernoy kid, and it turns out he is just a guy, not a mythical beast hell-bent on world domination like he was portrayed on television. So I hope he enjoys the game. And as Clausburn, I am prepared to bring an early Christmas gift to everybody. I will Venmo everybody $40 just in case Matt Rhule's pregame speech fires us up too much and the fellas need to go out and get their ladies some Plan B tomorrow morning. Nebraska is going to win this game 31 and Illinois 17.
Huh.
Wow.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I didn't know Plan B is Plan A for Clausburn.
Oh.
As I said, you can't trust the Trojans to cover.
Claus, we love you. We appreciate you.
I don't have anything else to add. I wasn't expecting that one.
Claus, you be good, and thank you for being a part of a double album forecast today.
Okay.
There he goes. Imaginary, he wears red. It's Clausburn.
I like that he knows the going rate for Plan B. You know,
40. Is it 40?
Ask Claus.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't go. We could go ask the bunny, but I better not.
Well, is that accurate?
She's in the medical industry. That's why I brought that up. Wow.
Yeah.
We have a raucous house here at the Single Barrel inside the Graduate as 9th and P, your destination pregame. We want to see you here postgame as Real Red Reaction follows Nebraska-Illinois. Gets kicked off here in a little bit. And that's incredible. Two ranked teams. We were talking to Mitch Sherman this morning on the KFOR morning show, fellas, and Mitch is like, Nebraska 0-24. Their last 24 meetings against the ranked. Does that change tonight? I think it does.
I have a great stat for my Twitter replies for after the break. We'll get there in a second.
Your stat's incredible. As we wind it down, Hail Varsity continues here from the Single Barrel, and we're powered by Cornhead Lager.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids.
Faster! I'd rather play catch with my dog than catch pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. If you are 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease or asthma, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing.
Hail Varsity Radio is live. Now, back to Schmitty.
Schmitty's a great guy, but he don't have a brain.
And Elijah.
You want me to speak? When I point you, yeah.
On Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you. It's winding down a Friday pregame here. Hail Varsity on the road. Single Barrel, 9th and P. Inside the Graduate, Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, and Will Wilson. Big thanks to Will for hanging out in studio. Real Red Reaction follows here on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel, Real Red Reaction YouTube channel, and Hail Varsity Radio, Twitter at HVarsity Radio, KFOR, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So for whatever reason, the video we post on Twitter is not staying up. You got to click the link. can just go to YouTube and check the show out that way if you're not tuned in, or it's better or more applicable on your phone. That way you can also stream KFORnow.com as well. But what's funny here is we've got fake it till you make it chat going on in the stream, and there's barbs about Nicorette and non-alcoholic beer going back and forth with some of the listeners. Elijah, you had a really cool stat here.
You won't like it.
Oh, I remember it well. My dad was in the Haymarket with my mom, and the whole family got together, and Carson 8 years ago was a little 9-year-old with giant teeth. And there's so many empties that it looked like him and my dad took down to help, become millionaires with aluminum. Right? I mean, it's a magical moment with that Oregon win.
Was it enough empties that Child Protective Services was called?
No, but it's an iconic picture that I still put. I mean, I want to put that on my wall in the basement. That's how funny it is.
Yeah, the game we're referring to, Nebraska-Oregon. It's the last time Nebraska got a win over a ranked opponent. Yeah, the finish to the year for Oregon was not good. They did not finish the year ranked.
Didn't matter at the time it was needed.
Exactly. That was the last time Nebraska had a win against a ranked opponent, period. A stat coming in from Alex here on Twitter is that since that game 8 years ago, Nebraska has lost 28 games in which they either held a lead, were tied, or were tied at or beyond halftime. 9 of those 28 games were against top 25 teams. That's what we've talked about today. Is that era of Nebraska finding hilarious and grab-ass ways to lose football games?
It's not always going to be a close win, but it can't always be close losses, right? It's got to stop at some point. You got to become a 500 or better team in one-score games.
Well, it's not luck. That's what I think a lot of Husker fans have learned over the past 8 years or so, is it's not this is going to stop happening because Nebraska's just unlucky. Nebraska's got to work for it. Nebraska's got to get better. And I think Nebraska fans trust the man that's in charge of this Husker football program right now to be the guy that can be that calming voice in a fourth quarter. You have a quarterback that you can trust, a defense that if you have the lead, you have to pump the ball away, you can trust them to go on the field. It's not luck. It's a matter of skill, talent, and cool-headedness that gets you wins in those close football games. I think Nebraska, whenever you look at what they've done the first 3 games this year, has a combination that can finally flip that script.
It's confidence, 1-2, and know-how that is your difference. We'll be back here for Real Red Reaction immediately following Nebraska-Illinois. Enjoy the 400th sellout. Congratulations to you, Nebraska fans, for all you are, all you've done, and making this thing a reality that the rest of the college football world is in awe of. We'll appreciate you, and we'll talk to you here in about 3.5 hours with Hail Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager.